Hi everybody, I wanted to talk to you today about macronutrients and the standard American diet, which tragically says SAD, and that's about the right term for the American diet. Most people don't realize what macronutrients are. What that describes is proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. In the standard American diet, roughly about 10% of our caloric intake is from protein. And protein is actually a very important substance because it creates our musculature, it helps create our hormones, it is the amino acid base that we derive our entire building structures from. Only 10%, I think that's a little bit odd, but and it's also tragic. It's not enough. 15 to 20% is fats. Generally, fats are really great because they reduce our cravings, but most people don't realize that our biggest thing is carbohydrate. Carbohydrates are things like white bread, pasta, danishes, all of the different types of breads that we have, donuts, all the carbohydrates that come from carbonated beverages, all these different things, the grains, Cheerios, Oreos, all these things are carbohydrates, and that's why it's so easy to make up about 80% of our standard American diet. People don't realize that when we have such a high carbohydrate content, we are releasing way too much insulin. Insulin, when it gets all elevated, it creates a stress on the body. First of all, it means that there's too much sugar in the blood. We don't want sugar in the blood. We want sugar that's been taken into the body to actually go into the cells. The reason we get too big is because it remains in the blood, the cells fill up with sugar and they don't have anywhere else to go, so we store that extra carbohydrate as fat. So, in the skinny up macro world, we have really reversed that around. Most of the skinny up macro understanding is that we want more protein, a little more fat, and much, much less carbohydrate. So, in skinny up macros, we have about 75% protein. So that means that we're doing a huge amount of muscle building, of metabolism building. And what we're trying to do is keep the amino acids really balanced in your body. We will have slight amounts of fat, not much during the detoxification and the different weight loss phases, but we can add more as time goes on. And then finally, we like to keep our carbohydrates down to about 10 to 15% of our macro intake. So what that does is it immediately throws us into what we call ketosis. Now, a lot of us have heard of the ketogenic diet. That's been around for a long, long time, but it's become popular because we renamed it ketogenic. Ketogenic means that we're actually just not burning carbohydrate anymore. We've robbed the body of all these carbohydrates because we're not eating as much, because we're using protein and fat as our source, which produces ketones. Ketones are a really, really great source of energy for the body. And once we're on that source of fat burning energy, instead of constant sugar as fat energy, then the body really becomes happy, becomes lean, and really becomes healthy. So that's the big idea behind macros, and that's the big idea behind skinny up macros. So there is a difference, and that's why we're able to have such great results with the skinny up protocol. So if you'd like to have more information about the skinny up protocol, please don't hesitate to contact us at skinnyup.com. And I really appreciate your time today. Thanks a lot.